welcome to Mohammed's channel. Right now I'm heading to work this morning, just like a lot of people. We're facing the daily grind, but overall everything is going well. Thank God. There's both physical and mental health. I want to emphasize mental health. It's important. It's only when it's affected that we realize it, because you can't see it. It has a strong impact on our ability to act, especially when we're deep into entrepreneurship. And when you're a business owner, your mindset is crucial. If your mental state is affected, you can't do your job. So thank God we have both physical and mental health, which allows us to keep fighting, to keep serving, and to rise to our challenges. As I told you, the purpose of the Inspiration channel is to show two things: how we fight every day to keep dreaming, to stay focused on our goals, and also to keep working, to keep moving forward. We're in a period of transition. We've gone through several transitions. I'm going to explain a bit about how these changes happened so you can understand how we ended up in this difficult situation. You know that with COVID, a lot of businesses were disrupted, especially those involved in trading or providing essential goods. The world was shut down because of the lockdown. Everything was practically closed, so we couldn't trade. We were forced to diversify. Banks were closed. Everything came to a halt, so we wanted to ensure our activities. We had a somewhat difficult year before. The problem is that the following year, unfortunately, COVID hit. Because of COVID, we couldn't work normally. So that simply further disrupted our activities. After that, we also had the war in Ukraine, which further affected the market. Because when the supply chain is blocked, it's just not possible to keep going. So the challenges of COVID were compounded by the war in Ukraine. And we tried to hold on there. And unfortunately, after that, there was the El Nino phenomenon, which is a natural event that caused the production of the products we were selling to decrease and the quality to drop. So all of that really derailed our activities. These are external problems, not ones of our own making. During COVID, we were on assignment in Africa and had to be repatriated to England by the British government because everything was shut down. The embassy and the British authorities sent me notices to be repatriated to England. It truly was a very difficult year. Now, internally, what else didn't work out? It's true that we can't blame everything on external factors, even if some things were beyond our control. But on our side, if there was a lack of experience, there were opportunities we didn't capitalize on because of that lack of experience. And that cost us quite a few points because we had opportunities, we would get started, but we couldn't manage to see them through. So that's why we weren't able to bring these activities to fruition. And then with the project, right, we had a different pace, but we have to admit that the market too, as you know, is very complicated. The buyers are not credible buyers. They are people who do not honor their commitment. Also, the fact that shipping from us to the destination would take 40 to 60 days, the prices would change. Prices change because it's a volatile market. So when the product arrives at its destination and the quality is no longer there, the prices are no longer aligned not at the price the contract was signed for. The end client defaults on payment, creates payment crises, requests credit notes, and that's when our market starts to go off track. So all these factors combined have really shaken the foundation of our activities, which unfortunately meant that we were not able to continue. It created problems. We did everything we could to save the company. We did everything, we put everything in, we tried every possible decision, strategy, ostentatious measure, austerity measure, and operational cost reduction. If there's no income, even if we can reduce operational costs, salaries, the officer expense was cut to the maximum. Unfortunately, we said it's clear that we couldn't continue like this. We had to move on to something else. For him, the failure that was possible was the chance to leap, to be able to jump better. So we did everything we could. But what was interesting at the moment when it's true that, as you know, depending on the humiliation, the community knew you as entrepreneurs, as people with your own business. Unfortunately, today you're forced to often go back, stay at home, or take on other jobs. But these difficult moments, we don't take them personally like that. It's part of life. These are life's lessons, and you have to be patient. And in this crisis as well, we realized that we were actually very close to our goal. It's not as bad as it seems, but what do we gain from this crisis? We discovered that we are also less than that of our objective. We saw that we have the skills, we have the expertise, and we finally allowed ourselves to take stock of where we are in our activities, what didn't work. We dragged the sound and we were very close, and that if we approach it better next time, we'll be able to start again. That too is one of the advantages of life. When you have your health and you're alive, you can always go back to the basics. It's never final. Often it's your own ability. You're the only one who can throw in the towel, but if you don't give up, you can always come back and do even better. So what we gained from this crisis is that it allowed us to realize that we weren't far off, and that we had the skills and expertise needed to reach our goals and do things in the best way possible. So what needed to be done? First, we had to manage emergencies. We had to take measures to deal with emergencies, just as we are doing now. Find a small job to do, some work, get back into events, find ways to make a living. Yes, it's not in the room in countries like England. And then with Brexit, there are fewer workers in restaurants, in hotels. Everything related to hospitality, for hospitality hotels, restaurants, there is a demand for jobs. So quickly we say, I start a job that allows us to cover our expenses, pay our rent, handle our family responsibilities. And now things are bouncing back better than ever. So quickly we try to find a job again that would really help us cope. So that stops the bleeding. And then we try to keep chasing the dream. Obviously, one thing that also wears us out is the pressure from clients. We do this, of course, when we trade. Often, if we have commitments, we take out loans, and so we go to work. And when the business runs into trouble, when you can't make even the minimum payments, it creates tax and financial pressure. So that's also a crisis. We have to manage the pressure from creditors that we try to handle. And that's why we want to get back into trading. There, if we have ventrices, it allows us to be able to have a full range of meditation to get out of this shield. But she's very confident. She's very confident that we can still manage this situation with our creditors, who we find are understanding, that they realize there are a lot of companies that are struggling right now because of these external events, so are not alone in this situation. So we're trying to manage the situation. So now we're in the phase of resuming activities, but when the machine is stopped, getting it started again takes a bit more time. Things take longer to get going, the negotiations, getting everything back in place. So we've set up a structure with her, and we're trying to bounce back. So thank God, since we already have clients we've worked with for 10 years, we have a good reputation in hospitality, we're serious. We're relying on them to make an even stronger comeback. So we've reconnected with our suppliers from whom we buy our products. The tenants are good, people are on board, because while we were running our business, we did things very well. People were reimbursed, they were good payers, and they saw the potential. So whether it's the suppliers, they're on board, whether it's the freight forwarders, they're on board, whether it's the shipping company with whom we've also maintained good relations, and especially our end customers. So we picked all that back up, and everyone is on board. Visit all the facilities to negotiate programs, and also negotiate the same payment methods, but also long-term partnerships. So that's what we're working on right now. Things are going well. So in conclusion, among other things, with these financial solutions, to be able to raise funds that will allow us to work with the skills we have, we're not dependent on funds like that, because we already have a good situation that allows us to carry out our transactions. But the financial support will come as a backup, which will allow us to work with greater peace of mind. Because in business as well, there can be unforeseen events, things you didn't expect. So if you have a bit more funding, it allows you to handle emergencies. So the process of applying for financial support is already underway. We have submitted a loan application to the financial departments. The file is solid, the business plan was well prepared. We have also already had clients who are committed to having a program related to this support and to facilitating the loan application. So we have good sources of institutional loans that will allow us to get back on track. I think that the greatest support is the backing of our major clients, of our big name partners who are aligning with us to work together. That's it. So thank God the current project, I am hopeful that, well, we have the end of May. We hope that starting from June, at the latest, we can begin operations because, as we said at the last meeting, all the issues we have are because we're not generating revenue. If we start generating frequencies, issuing invoices, it will bring a lot of liquidity into the system and allow us to establish this momentum. So before starting the sessions, we put in place the observance of the contract with the end client. The supply process is already aligned. Our company is aligned and the shipping company is also aligned. We are waiting to finalize the contract with our end client. As soon as we have their agreement and they are on board, we will finalize with our service processes, which are the supplier, the shipping company, and freight forwarders. At that point, they will be put in place. There is also the logistics site, which is ready as well, and we will put all these elements in place. And I think that when we resume operations this time, well, I believe that the resources we will have will allow us to move forward. But I am very, very confident that we are very, very close. We have the funds, we have the skills, the expertise to break through this barrier and achieve even greater things. And we have also tried to diversify. Actually, you have to be able to diversify, not to be dependent on just one product or a single group of clients. So we're going to be different. We're offering something else. There is a range of products that we are going to add to our lineup, which will allow us to diversify the products we sell and diversify our clients. So the battle for recovery is underway, and we are confident. And so there's also that aspect of implementation. There's the sacrifice we each make individually so that we can succeed. Because one of the things you discover in entrepreneurship is that it takes a lot of effort, a lot of extra activities. That's what will put you in a strong position and give you a better chance compared to those who are less determined. So business is largely about the support you get, which allows you to succeed. So we do what is possible right now. We look for opportunities, we call our clients, we keep at it, but we put in a lot of effort. That's it. But if you put in the work, as long as it's possible, there are roles that can bring in more returns. That's it. But I have confidence with the system we started and the expertise we have. There are functions we're able to implement. So that's a bit of how things are, and that's all we can say. In conclusion, don't lose hope if you have projects and you run into difficulties. Don't take it as something personal or as a personal punishment. Just try to take away the lessons in the moment. What didn't work, and find a way to get back on track as quickly as possible. And then try to do better next time. That's it. That's kind of the beauty of life. There are two perspectives on luck. So there's health, and then there's willpower. We can do anything. Either disobey or be devoted. Where there is willpower, there are always ways to get things done. And if we want to do it, we can do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. That's what we want to show. That it's possible to fall, to make mistakes, and even to stumble in your own project. But still, with determination, you can always come back. So I want to encourage you to believe in your dreams, in your projects, not to give up. And I'm sure you can do it. There you go. That was my attempt this morning. I'm giving you a little boost, kids. And I hope that as we move forward on the channel, Here are your comments. We suggest you watch the videos more closely and we'll show a bit more detail. Thank you.